Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Bushman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the individual life path forecast for the new moon solar eclipse that's happening on October 14th or 15th, depending on where you live within the world. So we have officially entered eclipse season. So this is big energy. And now with these eclipses, we have an eclipse on the 14th, 15th, obviously, the new moon solar eclipse that we'll be talking about today. And then at the end of the month, I believe on the 29th, we have a lunar eclipse. So we'll talk about that as it gets closer. But these eclipses are big energy. And so this new moon eclipse could be bringing in a new storyline that we'll be working with for the next 6 months, next year, or for the next 18 months. And the eclipse at the end of the month, which we'll go into more detail about as it gets closer, has a likelihood to potentially close something out, close out a cycle we've been moving through for the last 6 months or a year or 18 months. And so you'll know as it pertains to your own storyline, sort of how it's affecting you, how it's coming in. But this new moon solar eclipse, again, has the potential to sort of unfold over the next 6 months or up to a year, potentially. And so pay attention to what comes in for you. Now, you may not see it come to full fruition or hit you like a lightning bolt on the day of. However, you can kind of come back to this reading potentially and see it as what was initiated, what was something that came in sort of as an understanding that, okay, this is the storyline. This is the seed that the story is going to be planted around. Because you'll have some kind of indication. It's very likely that you'll have some kind of indication as far as what this storyline is going to be about. So again, it's going to be an unfolding. So be patient with yourself as you move through it. Be open to what and who comes in for you over the coming months, because it's all going to be relevant and it's all going to play into a bigger storyline. So without further ado, let's take a look. Life path number 3. So this eclipse is bringing in the energies of the 7 and the 8, as well as the animal wisdom message from pig energy. And so what's interesting with all these energies, there's something here. Well, let me start off with this. This is going to be very specific, so this isn't going to be for everyone, obviously, but for some of you, there's a very strong likelihood that inheritance will be coming through, some kind of inheritance. Now, this could be a early inheritance where the person obviously is still living, but they want you to have your inheritance early. That's always possible. For some of you, it may be that a loved one does pass on and you receive some kind of inheritance, obviously, from that. So the other thing is I don't know why this is kind of coming through, but there's, for some of you who maybe do some kind of, or own some kind of business that's charitable, you may see some kind of inheritance come through, meaning like someone bequeaths like their estate to your charity type thing. That's also very possible with pig energy, and then with the 7 and the 8. That's very specific though. So it's obviously going to be maybe for like 1 or 2 people. I don't know if it comes through that way. But for the rest of you all, this energy is definitely bringing a focus on potentially wealth, like true wealth, right? With meaning what is important to you? What does success mean for you? Because when we have the 7 and the 8, right? Like the 7 requires some kind of greater self-discovery, some kind of self-reflection, going within, learning some kind of greater truth about oneself. Then we have the 8, which brings the focus into the realm of the physical. So we have money, status, power, resources, influence. So there's something here about a deeper, greater understanding of, again, like what success means for you. What does wealth mean to you? What kind of, it could even go to the point of what kind of work do you want to be doing? What kind of greater contribution do you want to be making into the world? And because you're a 3, I would say it would have to be something from your creative nature, meaning something that you yourself has created, or your creative life force is moving through you when you're sort of putting it out into the world, right? But there's definitely something here about a deeper, greater understanding of self when it comes to these very physical, like, manifestations. So what is it that would help you to feel greater stability, but that also feels really good for you and is still freeing, right? Still allows you to have this creative freedom. So it might mean, I don't know, you need to kind of do some self-reflection to see, okay, I want $1 million, but am I willing to do the type of work that would bring potentially that type of abundance into me? Or does it go against sort of my more creative nature? Not saying that you can't be creative and become extremely wealthy. Of course you can. We see it all the time. But I think that this eclipse is really just asking you to get very serious about what it is that you want, truly, and sort of what's standing in your way to achieving that, and what do you have to do? Like, what's your steps that you need to do to achieve whatever that is? But there's this underlying current of the piece that's really important here is that you're being very, like, you're doing that self-discovery work to truly decide or figure out in this moment, right? Because it can always change, but like in this moment, what does wealth mean to you? What does being wealthy mean to you? What does success mean to you? Because for some people, being successful means, I have enough money to get by, but I have unlimited creative freedom. I have a schedule that works for me. I have ample downtime, those sort of things. And so I think that this is just really asking you to get serious about that. And I would say that that is very relevant if you are, like, say, stuck in a job or career that, or even a relationship, right? It doesn't have to be all related to money. Although you are working with the 8 energy, so there's a big emphasis there. But are you in a job that, is soul sucking, but that brings in a lot of money? And how do you feel about that? Like, how do you truly feel about that? And what changes can you make so that you can potentially still bring in a good amount of money or an ample amount of money and continue to do the things that you desire to do, but that isn't soul sucking, that is actually in alignment with your energy and what it is that you want to contribute to the world. So it's those kind of things, I think, that are going to be a strong theme for you all around this eclipse. And for some of you, it could be that you see like an influx of money, resources, or a major status change, or a change in power dynamics, right? That kind of pushes you into, say, the spotlight, or pushes you into a place of having more responsibility or more power or more influence. Now the question becomes, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to use that with integrity so that you can sort of recognize the people that helped you to get there? Because we don't do this, on our own as an island, even though it might feel like it sometimes. There's always support somewhere coming in. So how do we recognize that? And how do we work from a space where we can start to open doors for others and sort of share that wealth, right? So there's a lot of that kind of energy here for you all. Now, for some of you, you might, have a creative idea that comes in with the 7 energy or some kind of great inspiration. And this can be the time where, with this 8 energy, this is the time to ask the people who have the resources or have the power or have whatever for assistance. So in the past, where maybe there was, you weren't, I don't know, like maybe you didn't feel comfortable asking someone in a place of authority or in somebody in a position of authority or someone higher on the hierarchy than you, when it comes down to like career or whatever, maybe you didn't feel comfortable asking them for support or assistance. But this is a great time to do that, right? Especially if it has to do with someone assisting you in opening a door for you, right? Like to help you to get your creation off the ground. Or if you need financial backing, this is a great time to reach out to investors in a serious way that maybe in the past wouldn't have been able to assist, but magically now they're able to assist. So this is a great time to put yourself out there and ask for what you need. And don't be like, don't sort of minimize yourself. You're worthy of whatever it is that you need to make whatever this is happen. And so, we all have limitations. And so if your limitation happens to be, let's say, in funding, then ask for somebody to come in and help you to fund whatever it is that you're trying to do. And it's very likely that under this new moon solar eclipse, you will see those people sort of just very easily commit to or say yes to whatever it is that you're asking from them. So this is definitely a time to put yourself out there. And if they say no, that's okay. But at least you asked, at least you know, and you can go down a different route. But there's definitely something here about stability and you creating that stability. But you can sometimes only do that through the assistance of other people. So you might have to take a deeper, darker look at that and see where is it that you're trying to maybe do it all yourself, but that if you reach out to others who have those resources, that I don't know, that key to the door, they can help you to open it, right? So truly beautiful energy here, but I do think it's going to ask you to sort of collaborate and work with others in a way, or ask for assistance, ask for what you need, recognize your limitations, and then ask for someone who, to come in to support you in that process. But this is the potential that you could be building something very solid under this new moon, this eclipse, that will take time, but has a very strong potential to be very successful. What I would say is just make sure that it definitely feels aligned with your soul, right? Like feels aligned with your inner knowing of what it is or how it is that you want to contribute in this lifetime at this moment, right? Because again, that will continue to evolve. But just stay true to yourself is what I guess I'm trying to say here through this process, because there might have the opportunity for you to sort of sell your soul, so to speak. And, that can lead to not so great things in the future, when you're feeling like, wow, I feel out of alignment. So this is the time to really make sure that you feel aligned with whatever it is that you're pursuing, because this has the potential to be extremely successful, and it does have the potential to get the support that it needs to get off the ground. So just make sure it feels aligned for you. All right, threes, I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.